G'day guys, welcome back to Season 5, Episode 13 of the Supercoach Swordplay podcast. Only 3 of us tonight. Rossco, extremely busy with all of his uni work, so shout out to you, brother. Had a fair bit of success in fantasy this week. We're not necessarily talking Supercoach. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but boys, talk about a bit of a tough week. You two did okay. It was carnage for me, but we'll get to the Supercoach in a little while. We'll talk about life just for a sec. Janath, my brother, you're right down below me. How is life at the moment, my man?
Yeah, good. Today's sandwiched between 2 exam days for me, which is interesting, but wouldn't have it any other way. No Blues game last weekend was a good stress relief. Honestly, I wouldn't have been able to do it if the Blues played on the weekend. I'm not doing well and happy to be back on the potty with you. And Spillsy and Rossco did so well last week. Like listening outside in, just absolutely brilliant. Great work, mate.
Wasn't it? Wasn't it an absolute pleasure just to sit back and actually be listeners for a change, mate? Spillsy nailed it last week with Rossco, mate. Congratulations. How have you been, great man?
Yeah, pretty good. Not feeling too well at the moment. I think I might be coming down with something. Way too late on Saturday night, boys. Gee, we played up. It was ball night, and yeah, the boys played up, I'll tell you. I didn't get home to, I don't know, it would have been 4 a.m. or something like that. Absolutely freezing cold. The suit provided no warmth. I just couldn't get comfortable going to bed, and I think we're coming down with something. So look, I'll try get through this pod, but yeah, we had a great weekend. It was good to sort of dabble in. Supercoach was great, and yeah, hosting with Rossco last week was probably a bit of a different experience to the regular viewer because I don't think that's been done before, particularly about either of you two. So yeah, it was different, but it was really good. Definitely enjoyed it. So yeah, it's good to be back with you two boys, and can't wait to absolutely launch into a little bit of Supercoach for the next phase of these buys.
Beautiful, mate. Well, boys, we'll quickly go through the agenda. We'll go through our usual round reviews. I'll have a quick rant. Spillsy has a nice tweet of the week. And then we're going to talk about a big topic this week. To Bont or not to Bont? That is the question. I looked at the ownership in the top 1%. And boys, let me tell you, a very popular trade in this week in that particular category. We'll look at some injuries and hot topics, some trade targets. Janath brought something fun to the table this week. We've got a bit of a tier rating that we'll be doing with players coming off the buy. So looking forward to that one with some hold and sell, the usual rookie data dump, our trades, and the captain's corner is back. Mailbag, maybe a separate video, work out what we do with that. But boys, it's going to be a big one. Let's get straight into it. As always, you know we support the Good Friday appeal. Any beanie that you purchase from supercoachswordplay.com, $5 will go directly to this magnificent cause. So thank you to anyone that has been supporting us there. And remember, the rugby polos, when I say rugby, it's the style, the rugby polo. It's AFL and it's swordplay, and they are absolutely mint. So make sure you check out the website for that. Thank you to Taylor and the crew at Speedy Tees, as always. The cash cow has not gone off. So, boys, maybe during the podcast, or not maybe, we'll be dropping a little bit of the phrase or a hint. And if you can pick up on that, make sure that you go to the Supercoach Hub Discord. Some absolute legends there. Jedi, Dr. Candale, and the crew will look after you there. Make sure you go there if you think you can pick up on what the secret phrase may be this week. And GDS, now, Janath, I'm going to let you take over here just for 1 sec because you've been pretty successful playing GDS lately. I'm pretty mid-tier when it comes to this game. I try my best. I just don't have the skills that you and Rossco have. But we've got some absolute legends here on the ladder, on the leaderboard for the week. Can you quickly talk us through what we've got here, mate?
Yeah, so look, I finished 61st in the starter comp this round. I was thinking, that's pretty handy.
Very
and then
nice.
Good old Rossco's gone and finished in the top 10. He's finished 8th overall in the starter competition. And one of our longtime listeners here, Frio Tragic, third for the round. And the best part about it is for Rossco, Tom and Cal at Game Day have the Rookie Cup. So for first-year players, Rossco and I are part of that. We're both in the top 10, but Rossco's leading it. He's first this year. Well, he finished first for the round, that is, but he's also in the top 10. We're both into the top 10 season long. And so absolute massive. He's doing such a good job. And look, we're still figuring out a way to get the winners. So 2 weeks ago, Luke Jackson and Nick Martin top scored for the round. We're just looking to get those cards into the hands. I know it's a bit logistically difficult because there's not a direct trade option. So we'll be getting in touch with those owners. You'll be getting your platinum Luke Jackson and your platinum Nick Martin in no time. Not to worry to those coaches there. But this week the giveaway is back on. Who's top score for the round? I reckon what we might do is we might go through the captaincy data a bit later on, and then we'll get our consensus going. But yeah, remember, use Peanut at when you sign up for Game Day Squad, and you'll receive $20 worth of free packs. So, no, if your season's over, if the buyers are sort of stressing you out, what better time to join a Game Day Squad?
It's never too late. That's the best thing about this game. There's a big weekly focus. And isn't it so good to see Rossco, yourself, Janath, and our man, Dan Mashman, one of my favorite people in Supercoach, have a really successful season and a really successful week. And Rossco has, I must admit, been a little bit down at times this year with his Supercoach form. He is a great coach, and this is absolute proof of that. In Game Day Squad, look at what he's achieving. And that's why I'm so confident that he's going to come home with a wet sail in Supercoach as well. So, yeah, shout out to Cal, Tommy, and all the boys there. If you haven't jumped on yet, do it. I'm telling you, you'll have the time of your life here. So, shout out to all those legends. And into the round reviews. Oh, boys, I might as well start with me because I am bottom of the pod for this week with the 17-15. Things just didn't go right. It was one of those rounds where nothing really went right. And Spillsy, we were talking before, mate, pre-podcast. What do I say and what's my advice every week? Follow your gut. Don't make any last-minute changes and all this sort of and yes, I held on to Ryan Marrick, which was the wrong decision at the end of the day. Lost his 40K. The break-even is still around the 150 mark, I think. So the bloke's got to go for me this week. But I did bring in Jordan Dawson, and I'm really glad that I did that because looking at that finals run in particular, the Supercoach finals run, it's juicy. So being able to lock him in now was really, really good. Maxi had him as a captain for 110, so nothing spectacular there. And the rookies, Cleary absolutely killed me. Day Wicks, Spillsy's mate. We didn't even mention that, Spillsy. You might mention that a little bit later. Spillsy's mate, Day Wicks, who he might have been partying pretty hard with on the Saturday night up at Bendigo.
I didn't see the photo before. I don't know if you didn't put it in or whatnot, but
I forgot. I'll have to get it in the next one, mate.
You'll have to track that one down.
You partying there with the celebs there, going hard, Spillsy. But yeah, Day Wicks did bugger all, so a little drive-by to Spillsy's mate there. And my man Levi, subbed out. Now, I think it was because of the short turnaround. We've got a long turnaround now, a bit of a longer break. So I think that he should be right. But boys, looking for a positive week. Don't own too many Freo or St Kilda players. So hopefully we'll be seeing the green arrow instead of the red arrow. I might as well quickly go to Rossco, 1751. So outdid me this week. Janath, have you got any idea what Rossco's trades were for the week, mate?
Oh, trades-wise, I know that he did bring in, what was it, Campbell Gray? But I can't remember who his trade in was. That's the problem. Mind me.
Nah,
but
all good,
yeah, what is it? Roscoe's had 3 green arrows in a row now, so he's looking good. I guess looking across the board here in terms of trades available, it'd be good to see sort of how many trades we expect to have at the end of our teams. And when I say end of our teams, what we're really aiming for is that the 22 best players on field with a sus flex, or like 23 players we'd be comfortable fielding every single week, and just like if one of them gets injured, then we've got 22 good scores basically. It'd be interesting to see what our focus is as we go on throughout this pod.
Love it, mate. All right. Well, Janath, you're actually next on the leaderboard for this week, sitting second behind our great man here with an 1849 points in front with Spillsy. Tell us about your week, brother.
I tell you what, it was a very tricky week. It was, I know, so great abs over at the Squadfather. He does his magic number.
Great, man.
And he's put his magic number out at 1,800 for the week, which at the start of the round, I'm like, oh, surely, right? And then as the week's going on, you're like, am I even going to make 1,800? And then you look around the leagues at the projector, and I'm like, I'm barely touching 1,800. A lot of these teams are barely touching 1,700.
It's tough,
sort of
wasn't
thing.
it?
So
Yeah.
it was just one of those rounds, mate. And look, if I'm looking across the team, I had 3 scores above 120. Like, it was Brayshaw, Jordan Clark, Bailey Smith. My VC was Whitfield, and I took it. Like, it was just one of those things where 116, seeing Gawn hit 110. Going into the last round, it was last game of it was either Baz or take the 116 from Whitfield, and I was like, yeah, just gonna chuck that C on TDK, can't risk it. Yeah, in terms of trades, it was Campbell Gray in, Max Holmes in. So they were both the planned trades for Zach Reed and Clay Hall. But the other one I did, just thinking long term in terms of sort of bench hygiene, was Cooper Simpson up to Isaac Keeler. So I wasn't thinking Keeler as a key forward. I was looking at him as a key defender, but he's just gone and snagged 3 goals on Stephen May. Look, don't know, but so yeah, did those 3, and so into just outside the top 2K now. Spillsy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was a pretty good week. Like, I feel like this was a pretty bad buy for many. Like, I don't really have any of these pods that a lot of sides have. You look at an Ed Richards or an LDU. There's a few guys that I just sort of didn't have, so it didn't hurt me a whole lot. I bought in Merritt, Dawson, Clark, and Gray for, I can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure it was Daniel, Marrick, Huswaite, and someone else. Cleary. So that's what we did last week. So yeah, backed that one in, and it was pretty solid. I VC'd Neil, which, what's going on with Neil, mate? We picked the wrong Brisbane player. I should have gone Huey McCluggage, a suitcase.
Yeah, wait for a rant, mate. Wait for a rant.
I can't wait for it, because whatever's coming, he deserves. But yeah, I really flat about that. But then, yeah, the 110C on Max Gorm, which is not too bad for this week. But yeah, I think I just avoided a little bit of carnage around the ground. I've seen many sides who struggle to crack 1,700, and you're getting 1849s pretty solid, and I think we're set up pretty well for the buys. But yeah, we've definitely got a bit of a cash problem with rookies, and yeah, Bont will be a massive talking point. He's one that I can't bring in at the moment. I can't get to him. That's how dire we are, and that's something that I really can't wait to dive into. But another one, Geordie Clark as well. We touched on him with Janath's review, but yeah, he's probably the MVP for the week with the 143, and the peanut of the week DR has to be Zorko 66. Unacceptable. Really, really frustrating with that one. It's a matter of, what do I do this week? Do we hold Ashcroft and Lindsay, or do we get rid of him and keep upgrading? Because once we get rid of those 2, there's nothing else to work with. The cash gen's cooked. So yeah, we've got to be very smart about how we assess things moving forward.
Like it, Spillsy. You're hitting form. Top of the pod for the week.
Couple good weeks now. I'm pretty happy with that. Like, we're slowly crawling up the ranks. So I'll take 5.6 every day of the week with this season. It's been tough.
And there's been movement here in the overall ranks. This man is in his natural habitat now, Spillsy, which is right up the top of the pod where he's used to being and where he deserves to be. Let's be honest, Professor. 26,316 with a rank just outside the top 2K. I'm sitting in there next with a 26,239 just inside the top 3K. And Spillsy, green arrows, mate. This is looking better and better each week. 26,059 and now very, very close to 5.5K.
Yeah.
How close is it?
It's
amazing.
257 points between me and Spillsy right there. But that's not a lot. That's 3 good buy rounds.
Absolutely.
Basically, yeah.
A good captain versus a dodgy captain.
Good,
That gets you a fair chunk each week now, doesn't it? I don't think the captains have ever been so important. Yeah, that's it. Like, I can see, I tell you what, maybe some movement from second to third quite soon, Spillsy. It's good to see our man back where he belongs. Now, Spillsy, you just gave a little bit of a rocket to the magician, Dane Zorko. We've got 3 Pete Laddams style operators here, don't we? After watching them last week. Zorko, Dunkley, and Neil. crikey, I'm an owner of all three, and you chuck in. Look, I didn't want to rant about Levi. It's not his fault. He was going all right. He got subbed off. So Levi he's a first-year player. You know, these guys are all premiership captain, double premiership player in Dunkley. Like, give us a break. Step up. They were playing, Spillsy. You can attest to this, Essendon's VFL side. And one thing I didn't mention before, and I forgot to mention this, I was legitimately filling in a prep classroom yesterday, and I knew that we had a footy clinic, but I thought that I was running the clinic. So I had a few things ready, got the cones out there, you know, the old handball targets ready, and I'm not joking you. I look out the window and I see Zeret just strolling past casually. I did a double take. I go, you shit me a lot. I have gone nuts here. I ran to the next window like an absolute fanboy idiot. Looked at him again. I'm like, that is Zeret. I didn't notice the other two at the time. End up being Ben Hobbs and a big unit in Hugo Vicentini, who I did not know from a bar of soap. Would have walked past him in the street and said he's a big bugger, but would have had no idea what he is. Can I just say very quickly, because this isn't even part of the rant, this is a real positive. Zeret is such a good man. I was chatting to him about that defensive role that he played. He was talking up my man, Huey McCluggage, said that he just tore them apart. But one thing he did say, he was super proud of the boys. Got a lot of positives out of that. And we just talked about everything. Nate Caddy's another one. I said, what's he like? And he just said, absolute freak, basically. It's just going to be a joy watching him and playing alongside him, being able to mentor him a little bit. And a couple of kids, as you expect in the gym, a few footies to the head type thing. The first one there with an arm around him as well. So great human is Zach Merritt. But these three, they need a rocket. Sorry, Janath.
He's a certified good bloke, Spillsy. That confirms it, mate.
Doesn't it? Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, look, that argument aged well.
it has aged very, very well, Spillsy. And the Essendon boys as a whole, last year we had Dice come out, and it was an absolute gun. Nicky Martin as well. They were super blokes as well. So they are some good lads down there at Essendon, Spillsy. But yeah, these blokes, I don't ever want to talk about them. It's simply not good enough for these premiums on a bye week. And the most frustrating thing is when you look at this matchup and you look at the Essendon outs, it's at the Gabba, you think, remember Spillsy, we've talked about it numerous times, the 200 captain from Lockie Neal against your boys when we watched him at Marvel. Just ridiculous. Yeah. I was expecting these blokes to
chasing it
for 400 points at a minimum. Almost, but yeah, they struggled to get to a couple of hundred, it seemed like. So that's my rant, Spillsy. Not happy with my Brisbane boys, but pretty impressed with your lads, to be honest, mate. Here you are. It's your time, Spillsy. It's your tweet of the week. Who have you given a bit of a shout out to here? This is a bit of inside sort of trading, is it, between you two? Or what's happening?
Trading. Yeah, it just felt right. Like I feel like X
felt right.
Felt right. I feel like the X community, they gotta lift their form, boys. It's very hard. I'm struggling to find and clear the week, but I look at the two co-hosts that I'm with that work harder than anyone, and what a segue it is to when we talk about the Bont. And I think if I was going to pick a tweet of the week, whether it was from here or anyone else, it would be around the Bont. So, yeah, I think we need to really dissect this. And he's one that I think he's a must-have, but how you get him is a whole different solution. It's a whole different kettle of fish, and I have not prepared well. Bringing in Dawson and Merritt last week looked like pretty good trades, but I kind of wish I held back on that a little bit and planned a little bit more for the Bont, because now he's almost impossible to get with this Marvel run. And Janath, mate, does it get any better? Look at this piss take fixture he's got in the back half of the year, mate. It's it's incredible. He's going to tear it up. And the Marvel run too. This is going to be the hardest. You said Gorn was the hardest antipod, but yeah, I think he's knocking on the door, mate. It's pretty crazy.
And the thing is, before this round, if like last week when I was thinking, Bont's got a 136 break even or whatever it is, he's probably going to drop a little bit of cash this week. And then you look at the Hawks and the way they're going. They're almost a plus. They're almost a matchup that you want to target. Yeah. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, Sicily's out now. Like, who do they have in there? Like, their tackles, they had like 28 tackles for the game. Well, it was a ridiculously low number against Collingwood. And you just think he could be playing in bloody China and I would still bring the Bont in against Hawthorn. Like, that's the way that that they're going. Like,
That old fixture, Janath. Bring it back.
It's not about Mark. Like, I remember the Saints played Port and Jaron Geary. There was this image where he has this scar along his leg, and I don't know why it just comes up. Like, it was the most random game just to have in China. Like, what? Why? But
that is so you. The medical professional remembers from a game in China that Geary had a scar on his leg. That is just classic. I love that, mate.
Someone can fact check that, but I remember that.
Go back and fact check if Geary had a scar on his leg. I love it.
That was ages ago. That was like 2019, mate. That's a long time ago.
It was eons ago. But look, what I want to say here is Bont, DFS Australia. I tell you guys, this is my new source of captaincy. Just getting all the data together, because not only do they have the recent form this year, but you can toggle by club and see the scores in their entire career, just straight back to like most recent, least to least recent. And this is what I've got with the Marvel Stadium dust. So I just searched up Bont, said, where do you want it at Marvel Stadium? And it just all comes up. So if you go on DFS Australia, you go to player summary, they have everything. I'm surprised they don't have weather, like points scored when the temperature's above 35 or something. Like, they have everything on there.
That's unreal.
But look, 17 games, more than half of them have been above 140. I think 9 of the last 12 to come at Marvel, including games against Richmond, Essendon, Melbourne. And then you start to consider which of some of these teams do you see falling off as the season goes on. Sydney at the SCG is looking like a plus matchup. Rabble. Hawks this week. GWS and Marvel is just a weird
They're not rabble, but they're unraveling.
They're unraveling. Like, Callan Ward's normally going to him, but one of the great blokes in the AFL, like, our sort of thoughts go out to him, like, just a cruel way probably to finish his career as well. But
how good by our boy Whitfield too. Like, consolidating him on the bench. That was really nice.
Yeah, Taranto met up with him in Melbourne apparently and drove him somewhere. Yeah.
And the rev up at 3/4 time to get him over the line. Kudos. That's what a win.
They couldn't not have won after that. Like, surely you look at that bloke that's talking after what he's done. Remember, his nickname Cement Head. Like, he just he's put his head over the football since he was out of the womb, sort of thing. You know what I mean? He's got so much respect from, I could imagine, the whole AFL community, but that playing group, knowing him, you had to get up for him. Had to.
The one thing that I want to point out with Bont here, sorry, stop off that topic, is you remember when Gawn, we were saying like his projections are all above 150. None of Bont's projections here are above 140, and the lowest price you will get to is 604k. Like, are we really expecting the Bont to not go 140 at all in this stretch? That's where I think it's this week, or it's just you just have to antipod him, because it's going to be hard to get him in. Regardless, he's going to be hard to get in this week. It's going to be hard to get in 3 weeks. I don't think that changes.
There's just one problem, I reckon, that's stopping me from doing it. And it's probably, obviously, I could be like speaking just for myself here, but the only good rookies I've got that are ready to go are Lindsay and Ashcroft. And then that's it. The rest of them are dead, or I've just bought them in. So what happens if we pay out for the Bont this week? It's looking good. But then how do we get Butters in hopefully 2 weeks after he has Bedford? What if he's 540k with a 40 break even? He's ready to go. He's reset his price completely. He's in good form. And he's going to be like a really cheap price. I don't know. I'd rather almost plan for that. That sounds a bit absurd, but...
Do you have a Roberts type? Like a player that's a mid-pricer, that was a mid-pricer that probably won't be like near the top of their line, but has enough value on them that you can just move up with one of those low-rent rookies, like cash rookies?
Yeah, I do, but I still think we're not in a position to do that. We're still fielding another rookie. I'll be fielding another rookie before I get Roberts to Bont. Like, that's for sure. I think I've still got 3 rookie slots on field, 2 or 3. No, it's 3. And I need Horn Francis too. So where's the money coming from? I'm absolutely stumped. Paying up for Gawn, I reckon, was actually surprisingly a really good move. But how much spending, how many Ferraris can you own with this like shambles of rookie cash coming? Like, I just don't see a world where you can possibly get Butters and Bont within the next couple of weeks, unless your bench looks like yours, Janath, which has been really good in the past. It's worked out for you. Like Powell Pepper and Holding Davidson, Reed, like these all worked out really well. But other than Lindsay and Ashcroft, I think I speak for many here. Like, yeah, my bench and cash gen's in tatters. So I don't really know what to do here. I don't know how to get him. I don't even think I can actually afford him with Ashcroft and Lindsay. I actually don't think I can get up to him at all. So
it's a good discussion. Like, if you're getting Bont, it may be the difference. You know, you've got the Ferrari there, but it could be the difference between your flex, say, being a Rolls Royce or an old VN, maybe.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I'm really struggling to work out how much of a must-have he is, because the issue is, for me, I've started with this man forever, it seems like, and I've never really been in a position in recent memory where I don't own him, so I've had to worry about this. That's why I just start the Bont. I'm a huge advocate of start the Bont. My question to you boys, and it may be a tough one, let's just say that someone's in a position where they've filled up 7 midfield premiums, and let's just take the flex out of it, right? So let's just pretend you've only got one spot for a premium midfielder. You don't own Butters and you don't own Bont. What are we prioritizing here? So, and I'm going to say that Butters is going to be available at 545K. So Butters at 545K, that would basically put Bont 100K more expensive, wouldn't he? Just say Bont 645. So are we saying it's more important to prioritize your Bont, just say this week, paying up that extra 100K, or do we prioritize someone like a Zach Butters, who, if you look at his first few scores of the year, seemed unstoppable, and on his good day is as good as anyone else in the comp, and we're saving 100K here. But if you're comparing the two players, it's always going to be Bont for me. But it's 100K difference. That's then the difference. What's that? 100K is Ashcroft up to probably Warner in a couple of weeks with the way his break-even is going to be. That's a decent upgrade for many people. You get him after the buy, Ashcroft out. That's just an example. So, boys, it may be it is a very, very hard question, maybe impossible to answer. But, Janath, I'll start with you, mate. If you had one slot left, is it Bont this week, or you're waiting and you're jumping on Butters at 540 the week after?
This may seem controversial, but I think Bont. I think Bont.
The Bont.
I would pay up. When I'm looking at the fixtures going ahead, so Giants this week probably gets a Bedford tag. But the concerning part for me comes, Butters' 2 lower scores this year have sort of aligned with 2 tags he's got from Corey Wagner from Freo and Oisin Mullen from Geelong. Round 10, round 11. And when you look forward in their fixture, round 21, Geelong, round 22, Fremantle. And that is 2 of the 4 weeks of Supercoach finals that I look forward to straight away. I'm like, we need matchup proof players in those finals, because those are the rounds that matter most, right? And
100%.
Like we talked about Bont having, what did we say? It was North, Richmond, West Coast, at least 3 premium matchups there in the last matches. Port only have the Eagles to come off those 3 teams. And so when I'm thinking about matchups, I think that 100K, not to say that Bont will put 20 points on Butters, but I feel like there'll be more games where I won't be able to captain Butters as compared to Bont. I think we have to pay up for that captaincy option in the team as well, especially in a team like mine where I don't have Gawn to fall back on. Someone like a Bont is really necessary, I feel, in that regard. What do you think, Spillsy?
Oh, it's really tricky. Like straight off the bat, Bont easily, 100%. But with where we're at with the cash gen, I'm probably going to say Butters, because if you go Bont this week, you're not upgrading for 3 weeks. That's pretty dramatic. But what do you do? Would you hold Ashcroft and Lindsay, or if you can get him a Bont with a boost possibly? I think that could be a good play. But then what are you doing what are you doing about Butters? How can you not pass up on 540k? I reckon the best thing to do would be planning for it. Maybe cutting a grey early, and then going to Roberts up to Butters. That could be the play.
Yeah.
But then it's very sideways in a way. We know Roberts isn't so much of a keeper, but trades will be slimming down a bit. It's so tough. I can't grab him. I actually can't get to him.
You're a victim in a way, Spillsy, of first world Supercoach problems because you traded out Marek last week. If you had kept on to Marek, you would have the perfect excuse
Exactly.
to jump on him, I reckon.
Mm.
All right, can I throw one more out then? Just one more out.
Yeah.
All right.
Gorn or Bont? You don't own either. Who's more important?
I'm going Bont. Well, right now, one's buy free, and one's buy free. And when we look forward to it with Gorn, he's got two.
I think
good
Gorn's
matches
had
this
his
week.
fun.
He's had his fun. He's also got Wits and
I'm saying Bont.
Wits and I forgot who. Wits and O'Brien in back-to-back weeks as well, both away. So it's like, then do you start to consider? Well, it's like I'm in a dreamland here, thinking I'll get Maxi Gorn at sub 600 again. But if you're looking at fixtures alone, Bont is just going to be incredible. He's going to be incredible, I feel.
All right. Well, we're saying then, if you're in a position to trade him in this week, do it. Pretty much. If it's not going to absolutely screw with all your future plans, just be possibly prepared for that flex position to not be this Uber type player. If you're putting your ultimate line in, I just think by paying this much, particularly if you're someone like Spills and I that's paid up for your Max Gorn already, and maybe if you went hard for a Brayshaw or someone like that at a top price, then you may be hurting a little bit. But, geez, it's going to be a scary anti-pod. And I don't think I'll be able to enjoy the game, particularly from rounds 13 to 17, if I don't own the man. It's just going to be a nightmare. So I think I'm going to get him in this week. He's currently in my plans. I've got a couple of sneaky things in mind, but it's hard to knock back. Boys, anything you want to bookmark the Bont convo with? To Bont or not to Bont, we are saying to Bont, if you can.
I guess the last thing I probably want to add there is, if you consider tanking your flex, where you only go with 22 players, your consideration probably needs to be, there's 9 rounds left. How many of them am I genuinely going to need the flex in? And if you believe that the number of times you may need the flex because one of your premium scored 40 or something is, let's say, 3 out of 9 weeks, I think having Butters, Bont, Gorn, Dacos, all these big guns in the team will probably make up for it in the long run, and you may save a couple of trades and needing to bring a flex in, which you can, if one of your premiums gets injured, you can just sideways them easily. It's just all in to do with how you tactically view your season to go. Like, how many weeks so far this year has had having a 60 at flex saved you from needing to take a 30 from one of your 22 players that are in your forward, ruck, midfield, defense line? Like, think of it through that way and consider what the probability may be. I think that's one way to think about it.
Yep, love it. And remember, hopefully we're not going to be running with these rookies that are likely to be sub for much longer. So you're not going to be as paranoid about getting that 5 to 15, 20 type score. You're hopefully going to be relying on some decent premiums, and a floor score maybe around the 60 to 70 range rather than the 5 to 10 sort of range. So great discussion, boys. Great discussion. It's a really big one for this week. And pre-recording, I was looking, and I think his ownership in the top 1%, last time I looked, a few hours ago now, was above 40%. So in the top ranks, he's becoming a bit of a tough anti-pod. And if he goes nuts, it's going to be hard to catch up with those guys. Not much discussion here because we have been discussing this for the last couple of weeks, but obviously, in case you don't know or haven't remembered, the friendly buy for most this week with Fremantle and St Kilda missing. But there are blokes like your Marshall, your Sinclair, your Nass. Then you've got your Clark, Brayshaw, Sarong types, and maybe a Pod Ryan pick thrown in there as well.
How many buy players we got in our teams? I think that's the best thing to do. We've already smashed it all. Like Rossco and I killed it last week with the buy discussion. You two boys did a really good job too the previous week. Everyone knows what's going on. So I think we don't really need to go into it. But how about we just go around and quickly say like how many players are we like we're going to be fielding this week?
Well,
All right.
I've got 3 out. Which
Yep.
is going to be Sinclair, Brayshaw, and Bolton. So 3 out for me. Hopefully fielding, close to a full side. Janath, how many out for you, both?
I've got 5, but 3 premiums. So Sinclair, Clark, Brayshaw, but Boxall and Keeler. So 2 rookies there.
I'll put my hand up for the box as well. And Liam O'Connell, but he's dropped anyway. I don't really count him.
But that's like the thing. It's like they probably. I've got 21 this week. I was hoping Horn Francis would play, but I think he's out now. So it would have been 22 down to 21.
Yep.
But I had 6 primos on the bye last week, so it's good to get the cattle back in this week.
Nice.
Spillsy?
Yeah, I've got 4 primos missing, boys. So,
Who's that?
but still, weirdly,
Clark. Who is it? Clark.
We got Clark, Brayshaw, Bolton,
Sinclair,
and Sinclair. Yeah.
Oh, so you've gone the Bolton as well. Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I should get 21, 22 though. Playing.
Yeah, that's
ironically.
good. That's good.
Nice.
So I've still got a really good team coming on to the bye. Obviously, we're trading this week. Work it out, but I don't know what to do. I don't know what the trade's going to be like. I've got no idea. We'll talk about it later, but I was expecting to get hammered a bit harder for this bye. It's not too bad. I think we'll get through it.
Nice.
I think,
all right, boys.
The one that people, so just very quickly, the one that's sort of sneaking up on a lot of us is round 16. I'm seeing a lot of teams that are like, even with like a Jai Caldwell pick this week, we're just bringing these blokes in. And I'll say that I also did the same with Holmes last week. Like, there's some really good players on these teams, and it's matching up with the round 12 bye a little bit. Like, all those teams have fantasy relevant players. Those that have Nick Martin, Tom Green, Lockie Ash, like there's players that are niche as well that some coaches have. So just keep an eye out on if you're looking to trade in Jai Caldwell, how that buy is sort of stacking up.
Yep. Good advice, mate. Very good advice. All right. Injuries. Now, boys, is there anyone that we're slightly concerned about? Now, Janath, lots of us are holding your McRae's, your Horn Francis types. I think most people traded out Zach Reed last week. I'll be surprised if too many coaches still own a Zach Reed. But is there anyone in particular that you think has any type of real relevance this week, particularly in our buy round?
Yeah, so McRae is a test to play, but obviously they don't play. So he should be fit for next week, and the same with Horn Francis. So coaches should be looking to get both of them back in next week. I guess the sort of big news out of Bulldogs is that Sam Darcy is 1 to 2 weeks away. Said he could line up as almost the perfect flex at a cheap 400K-ish price down the line in a couple of weeks. So that's what I'm saying is like you don't need to pay up for that 500K flex. Maybe just get a flex in that has that uber high ceiling. There. In terms of sort of other players, I'm just looking around to see sort of relevancy-wise. James Sisley is 2 weeks with a hip/abdominal. So how that sort of shifts the structure around is yet to be seen. You would imagine that Hustwaite may get a look in. This is sort of saying as a cautiously optimistic owner.
Don't, because I traded him last week. This bloke brings in if this bloke comes in, I'm
he's a sub.
Dirty.
He'll be the sub.
He's not going to cut it.
He won't cut it. I don't think he will either. But
don't worry, DR.
It's wishful thinking. What is it? Kieran Briggs is out for the next month. And so does this mean that our former loop of the year, Nicky Madden, gets a look in? We'll wait and see on that one.
I forgot he existed, honestly.
Oh, I'm going to sneak. I've got big Kizzer in my draft. So I'm going to sneak in Madden on the no one off. If John O'Carroll's the type to jump on Madden just to get you with a rig. He looks at
Make sure you set your alarm for 4 a.m., Jono.
Stay away, mate. Stay away from Madden. And stay away from Lockie Keefe. I'm just going to double up just in case.
Keefe. He's going to handcuff to Lockie Keefe.
You've been giving it to me for years about setting my alarm for SPP. And
Lockie Keefe.
Look at this. You know, Lockie Keefe.
Nick Madden's not even played a game.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right.
That's draft, isn't it? That's what you just the things you do for draft. That's why I don't play anymore. It's way too stressful.
Well, Spillsy, after you waited till 4 a.m. to pick up Sam Trevsky, saying that was your signal to retire from draft. That is awful. That is awful.
That's actually not the worst thing I've done. Like Diaz obviously just got up and left, but the worst thing I ever did was went before Sheasel had played a game. I needed another forward spot, so he was a rookie. I actually dropped him.
No.
And I was going to grab. He scored really well. He had like 34 disposals on debut. I went to grab him again, and Supercoach Pro cut my grass and grabbed him. Kudos to him because I was the idiot that got rid of him. But I had him in my team from draft that year on his rookie year, and he was phenomenal. So yeah, that was one of the all-time draft clangers I've had. But yeah, Amadi and Petreski Seaton, that comes a pretty close second, it's fair to say.
You might need to call Amy, mate. But
it's not my game. It's not it.
Lockie Cowan and Jack Silvani. Silvani's back this week. Cowan's probably next week. So how that affects Matty Carroll is yet to be seen. Oh, Kitty Coleman, 5 weeks with the quad. Just can't cop anything. He's just powerless at this point. Just really sucks, really.
It's nothing to do with my coach, but Spill, and he's such a good guy, such a lovely man. It's just, let's get over it, Kitty. All right, Janath. On to the next one, mate.
And then finally at Adelaide, Rory Laird's going to come back in. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Luke Pedlin a little bit, but I guess that's just where sort of Pedler, Draper, they're probably fighting at the periphery of the best 23. Where do they all fit in? That's probably the real question to play out.
Beautiful, mate. Bit of carnage, but not the worst at the moment. Now, for our trade targets this week, as I mentioned before, Janath's brought something new to the table here. We are going to get, is it the tier maker? Is that what we refer to this as? The tier?
It is a tier maker. We are doing a tier maker.
Beautiful.
Right here. I've got all the sort of primos that are a bit relevant. Mind the Chemist Warehouse ad there. But yeah. Oh, here we go. Bang. So I got, what is this? How many is that? 5, 10. We've got 19 premiums that have come off their buy. We'll call them premiums. You guys can decide what kind of premium they are. But I guess we'll just start from left to right then. So I've got 5 categories here. Must have. So must have is a player that will say if you don't have them in your final side, you're probably worse off for it. Top 6 to 8 options applies across the lines, except if they're ruck. We'll probably think they're top 2 to 3 option there, unless they're a must have. So that sort of thing. Slightly lower rung in their line is like, they're not a top 6 to 8, but they may be a top 12 to 15 player. Better options available is they're just not value for money. And then pass is, I really haven't thought about them in my team this year. Like, what are they doing in this graphic? That sort of thing. We'll start off from the left. Spillsy, I'll go straight to your boy, Connor Rosey. Where do you reckon he fits in?
Top 6 to 8, I reckon. I've got him.
Top 6 to 8?
I want to say must have, but I'm glad I've got him. But I wouldn't break his side to grab him. He's fine. Yeah, top 6
do
to
you
8.
agree with that?
Fair.
Absolutely, mate. That's where I would have gone straight away for Rosie.
I reckon that's it. And I'm going to start with Matty Kennedy. I think he's a sneaky top 6 to 8 option. He's getting scored a little bit unfairly in Supercoach, I would say, but the way that he's playing, the role is there. Yes, Trelawn's to come back in, but with regards to Kennedy, he's priced at under 500 still. And he's got that same favourable fixture that the rest of the doggies midfielders have as well, which is something I guess we haven't sort of talked about. If you want to invest in the Dogs midfield, do you have to invest in the Bont? Or can you invest in a Richards, a Libba, a Kennedy? Like perhaps is that the way you might want to think about it?
Possibly, mate. It's so hard. I'd almost have his head in the top 6 to 8 and his body in the slightly lower. I reckon he's around that 8, but I'm probably giving him enough respect this year. But historically, we've looked at the Dogs' data for midfielders. They can have multiple players averaging over 100. So can it be 5 when Trelaw comes back? I don't know. But yeah, I'd agree with that, mate. He's just there, I think.
Spillsy?
No, I agree with it. I would have like instinctively put him in like a slightly lower, But that's me overlooking him because he's not someone I really pay attention to. But you look at the numbers; he's been terrific. So
Really
yeah, I'm
good.
happy to cop
Consistent.
that.
He's
In the forward
it's
line
almost
too.
like you'd almost want to own him more than Chadwick Warner, if that makes sense, because you know what you can get from Kennedy. Whereas with Warner, you either get the 140 or the 75.
It's
yeah,
true.
top
Yeah.
6 to 8's fair. That's really fair in the forward line. He's earned that. He's been good.
Chera feels like a slightly lower rung in their line, sort of like he fits that to a T. Like he's not I wouldn't think he's a top 8 player, but he's not a player I'd move off or look to bring in. Like, would you look to bring in Chera? Like, is that something you would think about?
Probably not, but he fits perfectly there. He's not going to be top 6 to 8, but he's that next rung below. I think he's going to be a fine M8. What I will say, potentially in the next few weeks, he could have one of the highest 3-round averages with his fixture. So I don't mind Adam Chera, but bringing him in, I don't think I'd go there. But as owners, I think we hold for the season. I've got no problems.
Yeah, I'm holding him for the year, most likely.
Yeah. At this stage, like that. LDU, tough one. Where do you boys sort of think about him?
I'm almost thinking there are better options available, but he's got the potential to be in that slightly lower category. I'm just looking at him and thinking, well, what's he showing me to put him up that next level? And I'm not seeing it at the moment. Not that it's not there, but I'm not seeing it at the moment. But it does have potential. He was your man last year, Janath. You held on to him during that really tough period and rewarded you. People were jumping on him at 550, 600K. So I'd have him there for now. I just don't think he's done enough for me to give him that much respect to put him next to Adam Chera at this stage.
Nah, I agree with that, mate. Spillsy, you have with that?
I am, but I'm like low-key tempted to go pass.
Yeah, look, I'm thinking pass or better.
Have any of you blokes watched a Shorty Supercoach review in the last month? Oh man, he's livid with
He's just cooking him. He's cooking him.
I need to watch that.
I could not. I've seen enough. He's great for you, Janath, back half of last year, but until I see it, there's no way.
He's a player that should be 2 tiers higher, but he's probably this tier or lower. Like, that's the sort of player he is. Like, there's no reason with the kind of game that he plays that he's not averaging 115.
Yep.
Like, but he just can't. All right, Tim English, Supercoach royalty of years gone by. I think this may be pass or better options available. If you were looking for ruckman this week, between Cherry at 730, English, I don't know his price, and then TDK at 540-ish, where are you going?
TD, oh, sorry.
530.
Sherry.
Yeah.
Sherry, TDK
you're
over
paying up
English.
730 or 530 for TDK?
Depends if you got Bont.
Depends if you want Bont.
Yeah.
But not owning Sherry this week,
yeah.
It could scar you that much that you can't play the game ever again. It could scar you that much.
If I didn't own Sherry this week, I'd be putting my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Oh, you'd have to, Spill. You would not. Yeah. I'd say it's close to. Well, we'll talk about Sherry in a sec, but I'm passing on English. I just don't. He's nowhere near the top rucks.
TDK is he a top 3? If he's a top 3, then we can put him here. But is he the 3rd best ruckman or close to the 5th?
I've got him top 5 for sure. I like the look of Darcy Cameron. I don't mind Darcy Cameron.
I'll go slightly lower, I think.
Slightly lower?
Yeah.
Oh, that hurts, but but no, it's okay. It's all right.
There's too many around. Like, Rowan's been good up until
slightly lower.
Dogger's the one. If Dogger gets a clean look at things, he's the one that I would definitely have in this marker here, whether as a forward or ruck.
Yeah.
Even Witsy's been almost ahead of TDK in current form, so it's really hard to say that he's a top 3.
This is probably fair for him. Yeah, but is it fair to say that Cherry is a must-have?
Yeah.
I think he is. Yeah. I really think he is. He's reliable. He's in his prime. Yeah. I don't see any downside to him. The only remember that 3-week stretch. He was injured. As soon as he was back to full fitness, look at before and after that stretch. The man is a monster, and he's such an easy VC captain lock every week. for me every week, regardless of opposition. Just he's in. So for that reason, being a real solid captaincy option, I've got him as a must-have. I'd almost just pay up. Just I'd do it.
Sam Walsh, I feel like he's in this pass/better options available sort of marker.
Yep.
Pretty hard
if
pass.
If you had to pick, do you reckon we just pass? Just pass.
Yeah.
I'm passing.
It's a bit sad because we know his best is knocking on the door, top 6 to 8. But where is that, Janath? Like he's not even. He's not even. One, he's nowhere near it. Like
back issues. I'm not. The back scared
issues.
Me forever, basically. And after what happened to me last year with him over Dawson, that haunts me. But anyway,
Saki Butters. Now I think this is a pretty safe top 6 to 8. Is he a must-have? Or is he top 6?
545k might be. I reckon.
Almost.
In your final team for Supercoach finals,
I want him in there.
Like I said, yes, that's what I was going to say. Even if he's got the Geelong and Freo matchups, we don't know what their teams look like. You want to have him, right?
You do. I think if he gets to 550 and below, it's so hard to pass up on him. Even if in that scenario before, when I said if you got your full midfield, it could be a slight upgrade from someone like a Chera. It could be a sideways from Naden Chera if you wanted to go there. Like it's,
that's you could make money almost off going off Naden Chera.
That's Supercoach 2025 for you, mate.
Isn't
that's
it?
Supercoach 2025. Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Next one, Ed Richards, your boy DR.
Clearly top 6 to 8. I think he's not a must-have. I'm saying he is.
He's a top 8 mid. Wow.
I reckon he is too, Janath. I'd put him just in there at the moment. I'd love to grab him if I didn't have bigger fish to fry, but he's
look, when you look at it, by the numbers, he's the 11th at the moment, like 11th on average, 113.7. Yeah, he could push it. I could see
the ceiling, though. The only thing is the ceiling's not there. It's just consistency. He's had a few spike games.
He's got spike. He does have probably.
Compared to Libba, though, like you look at a Libba, who went through this? I think George had a real good look at this.
Libba's the 6th.
Lower him, I reckon. Slightly lower.
Very quickly on that, Dion Presti is the number 1 average in midfielder at the moment, so I don't think that's ridiculous.
I did see that too. That's unbelievable. One game, one sample size.
I reckon we pay respect to Richards. Put him in top 6 to 8.
All right, we'll give him respect. I like that. Yeah.
Now this one's interesting. The horny one. He should be top 6 to 8.
How horny can he be? Top 6 to 8? That's the question.
That's it, isn't it?
Hang on, where are you thinking? Lower than top 6 to 8, maybe?
I think he's on the border.
I was going straight to the top next to Sherry and Butters.
A must-have. Wow, I don't know.
Sorry.
I'm an owner here.
We've got to have perspective here, right?
Yeah.
I was going to say that.
I'm projecting him to be available to around 430k.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think a Horn Francis at 430k is a must-have.
Yeah.
Because I've got him above many of my other forwards. I've got Daniel, I've got Bolton, I've got Warner. I'd probably have him ahead of all of those blokes. So for the reasoning of what he's priced at, if he's at his price now, he's not a must-have. If he's priced at 430k, like projections would show, then I think he's a must-have. But
let's put it this way. I guess this is the best question to ask. You're going into Supercoach finals and you don't have Jason Horne-Francis. Are you worried? Does it help you sleep better if you have Horne-Francis in your team going into Supercoach finals?
It's not someone I'm worrying about that much, I must be honest.
And that's why I think he's a top 6
though. It just depends who he actually. Yeah. Who's he playing?
Because I feel like the must-haves are the players that if you don't have them, you genuinely I'm worried that this could be what ruins my entire week.
That's a good way to look at it. That's the case is I'd put him top 6 to 8 then. If that's the case. Yeah.
He has ceiling scores, but he can also just put out a 70. Spillsy?
It does get really hard. He's got Geelong, Freo, Carlton, Gold Coast in the finals, but then his next month now is like Giants, Melbourne, Sydney, Carlton, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
I think what you pay for him, and when you say, is it going to be a hard watch? Well, DR, what was it like, man, when we traded him out and watched that game together against St Kilda?
Oh, yeah.
Tell
That
me
was
that.
bad,
Tell
man.
me that didn't scream must have, and for like 430K or whatever he's going to be.
Oh, yeah.
I
you
reckon we were speaking
can't.
on the phone and we were losing our minds. Phil. That was.
No, I was at your house, man. I was
Oh,
with
no,
you.
sorry. You were.
Yeah.
I knew we were together and we'll
We
talk because we were
both had our
away.
hands in our head the whole
Yeah,
time. And
that's
Rosie was having one of the all-time mares as well. Like,
That's
nothing
right.
went right
That
for
was
me that
shocking,
day.
man, wasn't it?
Oh,
was
no.
And I didn't have the polos ready. It was just shocking. It was.
That's how I went from 1.1K to 11K in 3 weeks.
Oh.
That had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, bugger you, Jason. Oh, who's the next man, mate?
Sam
I love him.
Darcy. Sam Darcy. I reckon when he's healthy, he's probably a top 10 forward.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Yeah.
But he's a key forward. So I don't think we can put him straight into top 6 to 8.
No,
Like,
agreed.
Would you be surprised if Darcy averages more than Kennedy from here on out?
No,
I wouldn't.
No.
But
no.
Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not.
Agreed too.
Yeah.
Agree with you there.
Spillsy?
Yep.
Yeah, no, with you. I'd have him there. I think it's a pretty safe
This is
spot.
interesting.
This is the most contentious one, I
This
reckon.
is interesting. This one I've been
I'll let
waiting
you
for.
boys talk about it.
Oh, all right.
I'm putting him in with
let's talk about-
Chera. I'm gonna put him in with Chera.
Oh,
gonna
he's
put him
not
with
a
Chera.
top 6 defender.
Not at the moment, he
What
ain't.
do you
But
go
you-
off? What do you go off? Are you going off like
It's
what
gotta
you
be current
expect to
role.
happen, or what he is currently in? Yes, that's the exact question, right?
It's
Like, yeah,
It's all just speculation at this point. Like, you can only work off what you've seen, and what we've seen is half forward, a dead roll. It's just hope. You're hoping that he gets thrown to half back, but it's like if you don't have him, I wouldn't even worry about him on your radar. If you do have him, you just hold, and that's my opinion with Chera. So I probably just ride it out, but yeah, it doesn't look good, does it?
I'm not confident. Like I've
I'm
got
not
him
either.
slot like. But this is the thing, as we all know, and I'm stating the absolute obvious here. If there's a role change and it's friendly again, then he goes right back up. So at this stage, though, what we're going off, and it's so hard to predict. And like, what are our future projections? I wish that I could get in Clarko's head, but I don't know if the volcano got inside his head or what. But
he's on holiday now. He's good.
there you go. There you go.
He's
Eh?
good.
I've got him slightly lower as well. Spills. Would
Yeah.
you agree with that, Janath, yourself? Or
Yeah, I agree. It's like he's just one of the players where when we talk about Daniel, it's going to be interesting because I reckon if you swap the roles of Daniel and Sheasel, the tiers they're going to end up in are going to be different
100%.
because they're so linked. Like when Sheasel's playing up the ground, Daniel is basically top 6 forward. But as soon as Sheasel floods back in, Daniel is the slightly lower one. Like it's so interesting, the dynamic there.
Agree.
So we might as well just jump to Daniel. I think he's a top 6 to 8 if we push Sheasel in the slightly lower. Do you boys agree? Or do you think he's also slightly lower?
Originally, I was thinking slightly lower.
Yeah.
Originally.
I'm having him lower. There's so many good options in the forward line now. And he's stacked.
Eight options.
They
Like
all look good.
he's around.
He's the 11th ranked forward, and he had poor scores. I guess, you could probably make a case for him to be slightly lower. Can I see him finishing as a top 6 forward? Yeah.
Oh.
You're close.
I'd have him
don't
slightly
mind him.
lower, but I'd have him like in front of Chera. Like I put him right in front of that line, if that makes sense.
We can do that.
Not that means anything at all, but just to put it into context.
Yeah.
I just think there's so many better options in the forward.
There's
line.
So
arguments
you reckon he's in this mix here? Like he can bob his head up, head in top 6 to 8, body in slightly lower.
Yeah,
I
get that
reckon he's
little.
like, he could be 9th, but he can be 8th. That's sort of like how I'd feel with it.
Yeah.
He's just there.
Live up.
So if you traded, you
Give
don't
this man
bring him back.
respect. I've
Top
changed
6 to
my
8?
tune on him. Yeah. top 6 to 8. I keep on going on and on and on about one more concussion and he's done.
Yeah.
But
I love Libba, man.
he's
I know he
so
hurt
good.
me last year, but gee, I'd love
Can you
to
trade
own
him in?
again.
He's so good, man.
Spillsy, would you trade him in ahead of Bont?
No,
Would you trade him in ahead of Richards?
probably, yeah.
I would.
Yeah.
I was comparing him. I was looking at the Bont, Libba and Richards. For me, it was like you could see almost like the ceilings, like Bont, then Libba, and then just a little bit more down Ed Richards. So with Richards, what I think from memory, there were only 2 or 3 captaincy-worthy scores from Ed Richards, whereas Libba, most often than not, if you have that 125 mark, it's pretty safe. He's been a relatively safe captain. Then you look at the Bont and you just say, okay, so bang, 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 3 out of 6 has been 140 plus. Yeah, he's just that different beast. So I think that they're pretty hard to split, Libba and Richards. But although I was so keen on Richards, remember, he was at a lower price when I was going to start him at the start of the year. I think now I'm going with with Libba ahead of Richards, if I had to choose.
Now, this next man's really interesting because he's averaging 115, coming off a 64, 150 break even this week, 150 break even next week, but he plays Essendon, West Coast North. Is he one of those players like a Butters where you can almost be like, well, I can snag both of them, or I can get a Bont and a Caldwell? Like, would you prefer Hewitt and Butters or Bont and Caldwell?
It's a tough one. I'm considering this week, Janath.
Yeah.
I'll admit, before all this big Bont talk and getting locked in him now, I'm going to get Bont now. But he was an option for me, and I thought, you know what, bugger the 156 break even. Look at his fixture coming up.
Yeah. Look
at this fixture, and look at what he did earlier on this year. Like, he can get there. He can absolutely get there, and he's a pod. What's the reason for the slight drop off, Janath? Has it got anything to do with the Sam Walsh, or is it a slight change in role with him? Can you put your finger on why he's lost that ceiling that we saw, particularly at the in the first month of the season?
What I would say is that I think he's come a little bit back to the norm. So what I would say is the reason why we're a bit disappointed now is that because he was scoring 130s and 170s basically throughout the start of the year, it was almost like, well, this is the player that George Hewitt is now. But I think the player that George Hewitt is that bang on 110 sort of guy in the midfield. Like the CBAs haven't changed. Nothing like that's changed. He's still the number 2 midfielder, or even basically the number 1 midfielder after Cripper. But like 64 against the Giants, he's had a couple of low tons, like the Caleb Sarong tons the weeks before that. And I guess the big one is that the kick to handball ratio has really gone back towards the handball. So if we sort of look back to his round 2 to 5 when he was going those 120s, 130s, 170s, 14-14, 12-15, 15-14, 17-22, 13-21. And since then, in the last 5 weeks, it's been 9-20, 12-13, 7-19, 9-18, 4-13. So that kick to handball ratio's come right off. But I don't think it's anything to do with the game plan. I just think that that's just the kind of play Hewitt is. He's not necessarily the get the ball and kick it forward at all costs sort of play like a Bailey Smith. That's why I'd probably have him at the front of start, slightly lower rung in their line, because he's like a 110 player. What do you boys think?
I'm just going to defer to you 100% on that one, mate. 100%. I'm just going to defer to you on that because that's such a good pickup with the kick to handball ratio. So just in a nutshell, you think Supercoach wise, he just maybe overachieved slightly to start off the year? Yeah, okay,
but mate. He could come back to that because of the matchups. That's the thing where it's really hard to tell right now if it was him overperforming or him performing 2 easy matchups. Because we've seen in years gone by that he's a good player. Like a couple of years ago when we got him, 2022, I think it was, he was averaging 110 with ease before those injuries. So yeah.
No, beautiful, mate. Yep.
Bont, must have.
Right up you go, son. Right up you go, Bont.
Who's the biggest must have of these 3?
Sherry. For me.
Sherry?
Yeah,
Bont,
Sherry.
I think.
Yep.
I reckon.
Simple.
beast.
Well, we talked a lot about him, so we don't need
Yeah,
to talk
that's
about it.
it. Chuck him
I'll
up
leave
the top.
I'll leave the 2-time reigning Brownlow medalist to last. Save the best for last. But Bailey Dale, where is he going? D, I'll defer to you, mate.
Well, if you asked me, say 5 weeks ago, pass. 3 weeks ago,
4
2
weeks ago.
must have. So, look, if I was to select my top 8, he would be that far out of it. I think that far out of it.
Oh, sorry, I can't see you. So I'm like, wait, like that
No,
far?
Yes, that's what he did. Yeah.
I couldn't figure out what he was doing.
I'd have him slightly lower. If you ask Scobes and Joshy, they're having him must have, but I'm going slightly lower, and this may be a bit of owner's bias.
You need a roller coaster one because everything that DR said has been really, really good, really bad, really good, really bad, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like,
yeah,
where do we put him?
Sinclair. I'm
Is
just
he
trying
a
to
pass
think.
or is he a must-have? We don't know. We'll never know.
Oh, Naz off his bye, I feel like is a better buy than Bailey Dale this week. Like that's how I view it.
That's what you can put it down to.
Wangane Millera, Sinclair, Zorko, Whitfield. Can't read my own writing there. Holmes, Martin. Someone starting with a C. Clark. Must be Jordan Clark.
Ash.
Odd job. Ash. Another one. So given there's 8 names there, slightly lower.
Yeah.
And would Harry Sheasels nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, that's it.
No, that's probably fair enough. Yeah.
All right.
And it's pretty sad that Harry Sheasel's not in that mix because we know that he could be the D1 on his day.
Both of these blokes could be top 6.
Yeah.
It's just what's happening at the moment. Yeah. I'm pretty comfortable where this list sits, I think.
Yeah.
Your boy
the
now.
Last one. My captain, the 2-time Brownlow medalist, Patrick Cripps, probably pass.
Yeah. I was going to say it. I was trying to psych myself up for Sunday night, and I was going to say, yeah, we'll fuck me to pass. I reckon.
I was going to, at least for Janath's sake, going to give him better options available.
Better options.
Pass.
The thing is, when Carlton is on the ropes, there's one player that stands up every single time, and it's the captain, Patrick Cripps. I reckon if we're going to go on a run like 2023, the skipper's going to be at the forefront of it. So I have no issues with lumping him as a pod play. I know a couple of people are looking there themselves. He's fine as a pick. I think he's in the 400s now, actually. But how much is Cripps? He is 529. So he's not value. Yeah, 529. Coming off, well, DR, we might be a bit disrespectful here. 6 of his last 7 scores have been tons. 114, 82, 104, 121, 102, 108, 112. That's surprising. But look, it's fascinating. But I think, better options available.
We haven't recognised it because there's that lack of that big ceiling game for us to take notice and go, well, how is Cripper actually going? He's someone I must admit, when I'm looking at the Supercoach scores, I just scroll past him. He's no one that's just hasn't come into my mind. So,
season guys, 121. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Well, for anyone that is watching, and hopefully there are a lot of you listening and watching at the moment, let us know what you think, guys. Have we got anyone massively wrong here? Are we disrespecting anyone? Are we giving too much love to your Sherry, Bont, and Butters? Yeah, we'd love some feedback here. It's been a really fun exercise, Janath, you brought to the table here, brother.
Oh, no, thanks, mate. That's right.
We need to do more of these.
That was good.
Really good. Maybe next week we'll do another one with the...
We'll do one with the Saints and Freo boys.
The Saints and Freo, yeah. It's a good idea. Good concept.
All right. I think that covered the targets there. Now... Usually we would have all these fandangle images and tables. And when I say we, it's the great work of Janath and Rossco, obviously. But, mate, recently...
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
It's just a quick conversation, isn't it? To be quite honest. This quick conversation, can I just jump in quickly and say, Clark, get him in? I think that's super safe to say. Although
that is Angus Clark. Angus Clark.
Sorry, this is Angus. I did say the same thing about Husway.
Geordie as well if you don't next week.
There are a few
Or
Clarks,
yeah.
aren't there? I need to be more specific, particularly with the Clark last name. There's others I can be, a little bit more obvious with.
Who's the
But
Clark of the week, DR? We need a
the
Clark of
Clark
the
of the
week. We got a
week.
read of the
Clark
week.
of
We're
the
at the
week.
Clark of the week.
I
Clark.
like it. Spillsy.
How
Spillsy,
many
you're
are
the
there?
Essendon man. Do you want to quickly take us off here, mate, with Clark before maybe we go to Janath and see if he's got any other hidden gems amongst the Supercoach community, mate?
Yeah, well, first of all, he talks like he's 30, looks like he's 14. But yeah, he plays like a man, boys. He plays like a man possessed. That Dreamtime was just so good to watch. It was a great game. But yeah, if I had to be a little bit realistic about it, it didn't look like a sustainable game. It didn't look like one you could back up, particularly not against Brisbane. I thought he was far from our worst. Like the 44 is probably a bit about stock standard. Plays a lot of wing. So yeah, it's not every week he's going to get down the ground and kick 3 snags. Big occasion. He was very good. We'll make a bit of money though. So I reckon you just have to bring him in. And yeah, beggars can't be choosers. You just grab him. You grab the best of what's available, and despite the 44, yeah, I think he's the one. I've already got him, so it makes this week even harder for me because he's already there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think he's must-have rookie. He's the best rookie of the week, I think. He looks great. Really happy as a Dons man. Very bullish on him.
Safe to get him in. I agree, Spillsy. Janath, you happy with Clark?
Yeah.
Just think you just get him in this week. As simple as that, mate.
Yeah, I think so. And I guess the thing with Clark that I really like is sort of Brad is it Brad? Yes, it is Brad's. Brad's just taken a leaf out of twin brother Chris's textbook and said, well, I need my own Ollie Dempsey. A wing to get up and down the ground, get into the goal square, take a couple of clunks sort of thing. And if that's the role that's looked out for Clark, I don't really see anyone on the Essendon list that can play that role. Otherwise, like, who was it? The big bloke, Nick Cox, Harry Jones. Like, there's just been so much trial and error in the wing where I feel like with Clark, you may have found one. So I think he should be pretty good for the run in that regard. The other one, obviously, we haven't talked about DI is Luke Pedler. Like 150.4K, former top 10 or 11th pick, 79 and 67. Not huge possessions, only 11 and 10 in these 2 weeks, but he's had 3 and 5 tackles, kicked 2 goals and 1 goal. So he's getting on the scoreboard as well. How do you view his long-term job security? Because I think that's the biggest concern for me. He's made money in the past. So if it was, I think it's 2023. Yes. So in 2023, he got up to 313K from 173. So he's made 140K in the past. Can he do it again?
Well, I'm just looking here because a discussion that I've had with a couple of people is around what he's doing without the ball in his hands, and it's all about those pressure acts. So I just quickly looked at the AFL app here, and I'm looking at 1%ers. There wasn't too much at all in his first game. Had a few tackles there, which was nice. If I go to round 12, Sydney versus Adelaide, I just want to look at his 1%ers because I've been told that that's what may actually keep him in the side. It's that pressure that he's putting on. So if we look at 1%ers from last week, it's got 0. Surely there were more than he must have had that. I don't know if this is wrong. The 5 tackles are good. Disposal efficiency, 70%, 10 disposals. So you just touched on that, Janath. So there were 7 effective disposals, did kick a goal on those 5 tackles. Is it the tackles? It's going to give him a little bit of his floor. Potentially, it's a tough one because there's 150K. If he was Clark's price or 119, I think it would be more of a no-brainer type operation. And if you took Clark out of the situation, I think you've almost got to go there if you're looking for an option. But I'm not the right man to ask when it comes to job security. He's a mature body, as we know. He has played senior football. You did mention he's an early draft pick. I'm on the fence.
It's concerning, though.
Can I
that
get your take on this one? I reckon. Don't know.
Yeah.
Why did it take him until round 11 to get into the side? That's the concern I have. Because it didn't take an injury for him to get into the side. It just took him a really long time to get into the side.
Has he been injured, though? Has he been fit and healthy?
That's a very good question.
Because maybe that could be the answer if he's been dealing with injury. And this is how much I know about Luke Pedlar. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We need to speak to some Crom men. We've got some great men as well.
He's played 6 games of SANFL footy this year.
Okay, so
that's round 1 to 6. Okay, so he's played round 1 to 6. I don't know when their round 1 to 6 is, but I would imagine that's similar to the AFL round 1 to 6. So he must have been injured for a little while.
It's a dicey one. He's someone that we wouldn't normally go near, but with what you've got, it's tough. The only issue is, like, if you're trading out one of these dead rookies and you just want to get your cash gen going again, Simpson, you're actually paying up. If you're looking at a Liam O'Connell, at a Carroll type, you're only making 30 odd K. A Huswaite, a Clay Hall, if you're sick of them, you're not making much, if anything. So it's different if you're going from, say, a Levi, like you might be, Spillsy, because you've already got a Clark in. But 150K, it's tough with the current landscape, isn't it, to be paying 150K for rookies? But do you say to yourself, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get off a Huswaite or a player like that just so I can get some cash gen going. Yeah, if you've got Cleary, he's close to a must trade out, I think, with his break even this week. So if you've got Clark, I think Cleary to a Pedlar makes sense. But
I've got to get him because I've already got Clark. So if he plays, he's in. I don't care what his scoring is. There's nothing. It's either that or you go early on McCarthy for like pick one of the mid-season. You pray that he gets a sniff. But yeah, that's speculation again. Like, I don't even know if he's gonna, whether he does get up. So yeah, I think Pedlar or nothing. It's kind of like you got to upgrade somehow. So Clark. Don't know. I think he could be fine. We'll see. Look good on the weekend. 70 plus. That's promising.
Spillsy, I'll give you one more player just that might tickle your fancy. Caleb Smith, a player that we were sort of thinking about in sort of pre-season as someone to take on that Daniel Rioli halfback role at Richmond. 46 and 69 in the last 2 games, non-sub affected. He's not got the bye until next week, but I think the Richmond bye is slightly easier to handle. Is that someone at 149K, very similar price to Pedlar, you could look to go? Probably it's better job security until Jaden Short comes back.
I haven't really actually thought about him, mate. He's right up there. I mean, you take anything, you take what you get. I'm not picky at all. Whether it's he or Pedlar, whoever gets a sniff, whoever's not sub. I mean, I'll pick the guy who's not wearing the vest. I can't remember it being this dire for rookies in Supercoach history. It is so hard. It's such tough going.
I'm going to sum this up. I'm going to sum this current situation up. I quickly took a look, and I did know this, but want to see if there's any changes because I did tune into Rage Trade Mondays with the Legends last night. But the 5th most traded in player this week, Spills, is a bloke that has never played a game of AFL football. Never played a game, my friend. Tom McCarthy. The 5th highest traded in player. Now, we talk about going early.
I actually thought he was higher.
One game.
I reckon he's higher there.
Is he even
play? That's criminal. He may not even play.
What is going on here? The 5th most traded in. A bloke who we don't even know has been in the AFL system for 3 days, whatever it's been.
And do you know what, DR? A move like this has never gone wrong before, has it? Like, it's always worked out. No way you're trading a bloke after 3 days in the AFL system.
DR, he's 4th. He's actually 4th now. You got Pedlar, Bonti, Caldwell, McCarthy, and then Libba, which is
Sonzi.
That's in my team, though.
Sonzi or Fonty?
Wait, what's that?
Was that Tyler Sonsi or Joe Fonte? Who's the third one?
Oh, sorry, I said Bonti.
Bont. Bont.
Sorry, boys.
I thought you said Joe Fonte. I was like,
no, I said Bonti. So yeah,
Bonti.
You got Pedlar, Bont, Caldwell, McCarthy, Libba. That's in
gotcha.
Not in my team.
Well, this week, currently, 11.5% of the competition have jumped on Angus Clark. his
Yeah.
overall ownership will be 29%. So there's been more people that jumped on him last week that have actually jumped on him this week. Pedler is second at 10.8%. And then you go to your Bont, your Caldwell, and then McCarthy is in at around 3%. Even Campbell Gray, 1.8%, are jumping on a little bit late on him. So it goes to show that the options are really not there, to be honest, unless your name's a Clark, Pedler, or if you're going for a player that's never played a game, which I wouldn't recommend. So, look, I suppose at this stage we've got, loopholes we may be looking to get in, but damn. Trades.
Talking to our trades.
Am I starting off
Spillsy.
here, boys?
Oh,
Spillsy,
they
go.
are.
Go, Spillsy. Spillsy's got the one. Go, Spills.
I like it's either this. This is like just the easiest thing ever, like just fixing something.
He's
But
bringing in
after,
Bont, I bet. He's going to blow it up and bring in Bont.
I
He's
just want to
gonna blow
propose.
it
I just want to propose something. I have been playing around, but I can't get Lindsay and Ashcroft to Bont. But what I can do is I can go Ashcroft down to Pedler, and I can go Roberts up to Bont and bang.
I knew it was
that is so tempting.
I knew he'd get you. I knew it.
That is so
I knew it.
tempting.
Well, of course he's gonna get me, Dr. He's got the most piss easy run coming up.
He's
He's
got the piss easy.
easiest must have ever. He's a bit overpriced, but
Oh,
because what it would have been, I think it would have been Roberts to go eventually, but maybe you just cut him now and then.
yeah.
Well, I've still got Lindsay, and hopefully Clark and Gray
True.
become pretty good rooks. So it's not completely dire, and then it just means I'm really hoping that Bedford just smacks
Puts him
Butters.
into submission.
Absolutely
Just
smacks him. Because I know, budget's going to be, pretty tough. So I don't know. It might be that in 2 trades, but we'll see how
He's
we
shopping
go.
at Temu now.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to have to. I've paid up for the big Maxi boy. I paid $720K for him, and he held his price for 3 weeks. Kudos. But yeah,
Kudos.
geez, how do you not get the Bont in? So at the moment, I'm probably looking at that. I'm hoping one of you two could talk me out of that one. And
We are not going.
gotta
Does it
keep
look like
Roberts.
we're going to talk you out of it, Spillsy? We're
Yes.
both bringing him in. We're both bringing him in.
Yeah. Look, I am going with the 3 trades here. So we've got a big mix, haven't we? 1, 2, and 3. But I'm saying goodbye to Caden Clear. I think he needs to go. You look at that break even; it's a really obvious one there. Same as Marek. Again, we've seen enough. He's on the wing, not putting up with that. And the other one's Liam O'Connell. Now, I'm definitely going with your Bont and your Clark in for Marek and Cleary. It's just, do I go with that extra one, O'Connell to Pedler? I'm not making much here. He could come back into the side. It's more about just getting that cash gen rolling a little bit. And I'm at least chucking 30-odd K in the bank. So it's not much. That's the big decision for me this week. I'm just thinking, is there anyone that I can wait on that's upcoming? So definitely the first 2 trades. I just don't know at this stage if it's worth going O'Connell to Pedler. Just not too sure.
Yeah, it's tough.
That's me. Roscoe, Sid Draper, that's an interesting one. So he's going.
Yeah, did say that.
He said that's a placekeeper, placeholder for a rookie.
Oh,
So, yeah.
Cool. Just a placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Geez, if he played regular football and full games, wouldn't you just jump on him? But
Love him not to be
that risk
sub.
is way too much, isn't it? And
we were
Caldwell.
talking about it. Yeah, we were talking about it. What was it, 3-4 weeks ago when Crouch got injured? That Draper could be a real option for us.
Yeah, well, it's been Sam Berry really that's sort of come in, hasn't it, and benefited from him. And Peatling has been playing some really good football too.
So Sid Draper, if he's subbed the next 2 games somehow, he could drop to 97K. 97K.
Wow.
You just
not
grab
even-
him if you're looking for a loophole anyway, probably. Just the odd chance that he plays or something, maybe.
Well, he'll play. He'll get 5 points, but
Yeah, he'll give you
play.
5.
I think he'd sub every week. What is Matt Nick doing?
It's ridiculous, Spills. Like,
They didn't give
I
him
don't
number
know.
9. Wore number 9 all through his juniors. Opened up through Sloaney. Should have given it to your first round draft pick. Like highly touted. He's sub every week. Jeez. I'll be requesting a trade almost. That's so
I don't
sick.
mind Rossco's Caldwell trade in as well. I think that might be a
good,
nice little play there for him. Janath, how about you, brother?
Yeah, look, for me, the thought process comes down to: do you go up to Bont or do you just stick fat, or do you go for Caldwell type? And then I'm just like, look, it's 200k, but the last thing that I want to be doing is sort of cursing weekends over not going Bont. Really, like,
That's
it's
what
interesting. The question I wanted to ask you before as well: when Merritt came around, did you mention anything about why he's playing at halfback?
No, but I said, is that something that you can see yourself doing into the future, the rest of the year? And he said, yeah, definitely. Yeah, don't put that out of the question. But you can just tell as the team, man, he'll do anything he can to get the Bombers over the line. So, yeah, I definitely can. Well, this is like a very quick conversation I had with the great man. He was kind enough to give me a little bit of time. But, look, I'm no expert. I'd defer to Spillsy and other people on it. But, yeah, I can, based off what he was talking to me about today, absolutely I can see him. I'm not saying it's going to be a permanent role, but can I see him playing down back again? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Awesome. So I'm looking to go Matty Flynn, honestly, super soldier through some of the tougher rounds, just having a warm body and feel, especially holding TDK and then having Cherry, having Flynn there to cover in the ruck line was really good. And also Archer Reed, the two West Coast boys came through this week. Levi's probably gone. So the assets sort of that I have here is Jackson Prime, Xavier Lindsay, and then Matty Roberts as well, if I want to sort of move on for your Butters, Nazai, Wangani, Malera type. So that's probably what I'll be looking to do there. But yeah, sad to see Ashcroft go. Just sucks that he couldn't capitalize on a plus matchup, but it doesn't always eventuate. I guess we'll finish up then with the captains. So boys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it this week. Oh, well, I will sugarcoat it, actually. There are some elite matchups. So I'm saying Marcus Bontempelli against Hawthorn, or Ed Richards, or Tom Liberatore, whoever you have.
Any dog you got.
Any dog you got. Bailey Smith against Gold Coast. Tristan Cherry against West Coast. If you're a Cherry owner, so this Hands Oval, they're playing at Hands Oval. So this is one of the games that North Melbourne sold to Western Australia to play as a home game. Hands Oval is the ground that the North Melbourne West Coast preseason game was at, which is where Tristan Cherry in about 35-degree heat had 14 tackles and scored 165 or something. In that same game, if you remember, Harry Sheasel scored 180. So, can we see those two come back to life?
Can I simplify this a little bit for you, Janath?
Yes.
I love the work.
Mate.
It's phenomenal. I love the work you do every week. But
he's just like, stuff the fluff. What is that?
What does your VC have to score for you to go,
Yeah.
I'm not taking that. I'm going Cherry. Is this one of those I'm going to VC my captain weeks?
I think you have to.
Do you just overlook everyone entirely?
The thing is,
and you just VC Cherry.
You're just bringing in the Bont, though.
Bont. If you're bringing in the Bont, you're like, you just want to slap the VC on him. You don't want to just see him score 150 on debut and you don't have the VC on him, sort of.
Oh, it'll be an awkward feeling.
You take 150, yeah.
Yeah.
But
what if it's
such a good question, Spills.
125 even. It's awkward.
No, not a 125.
I wouldn't 125. I wouldn't 125 it with Sherry.
If last week was conservative, this week. But look, that's the thing, Spillsy. You've raised a great point because Cherry is probably going to be the highest scorer this round. But it's like, if for whatever reason something happens to him, I don't own Gawn.
Captain
so
Gawn.
I can't fall back on
Gawn.
Yep. So I'm like, I could fall back on Dacos, which is not the worst thing, but he's like, he got tagged last year by Goodwin in the same matchup. Yes, Neil Bullen isn't there, but does he send a Clary with him? Like, there's too many variables up in there. So it's like, or the other option is Cherry into TDK against Goldie. So if I was sort of to say this, I think there's 5 really good options this week. Bont against Hawthorn, Bailey Smith against Gold Coast, Tristan Cherry against West Coast, TDK against Todd Goldstein and Essendon, and then Max Gawn / Nick Dacos against their respective teams. Those are sort of the big 5/6 to choose from. If you boys...
I'm going to throw one thing out there. No, just one thing out there, right?
Yes.
What do you reckon, given the fact that we are so confident on Tristan Cherry, if I jump on an absolute roller coaster this week, Shadley Warner versus Richmond. See if you can jag out a 180. What do you reckon? Because you're so confident about Sherry.
I did this the other week against who was it? It might have been Essendon. No, it was Carlton. Yeah, it was against Carlton.
You got an awkward score, didn't you? Like a one.
Yeah, it wasn't a high ceiling. It wasn't a floor. It was a 125 flat, and I burnt it for I think it was a 150 cherry. So gained 25 points I definitely didn't deserve. I don't know.
That's just random though, DR. Like if you're going to do that, I feel like you might as well just put on like a Jordan Dawson or something. It's going to be a close game. There may be like variant swings. Like he could go from 130 to 150 sort of thing in the matter of a minute. Like that's how those kind of games go, right?
All right, let's just pretend, Janath. You've got Bont, Gorn, and Sherry.
Yeah. Oh.
What's your combo? Are you going
Cherry into Gorn?
Cherry into Gorn still.
Yeah.
Can I put a really good point out there that I reckon? Yeah. I think a 120 VC is worth more on Cherry than it is from a Bont and Pally. So you'd be happy with that. Where you're not gonna. Oh, it's really tricky. You don't want to overlook Cherry. I don't think. I'd rather bank a safe 120 from Cherry, and not Captain Bont. Oh, not Bont. Sorry, Gorney, or Dacos or anyone that plays after. Yeah. Just sort of knowing you want to see what Cherry can do. You don't want to bank a 120 and then get a look in at Cherry, who absolutely dominates on Matty Flynn. So. Yeah, it's the easiest set and forget VCC combo of the year for my liking.
Is so it's so interesting because I feel
can't overlook it.
I feel like Bont is an equally good matchup, but we don't necessarily see it because it's Hawthorn versus West Coast, and we know that West Coast ruckmen give up points. Cherry as a VC is a fine selection. I think that's going to be totally okay.
You'd love the game flips like Sherry on the Thursday night, and then being able to like back up with Bont. That would be the ultimate. It'd be so like you wouldn't think about it basically. You would not think just bang bang. But I think
Cherry
you raised
into whoever. Cherry into Nazaya, Wangani Malera. Honestly.
Yep.
I reckon this is going to be a bit of deja vu from when Brayshaw went really good against Collingwood, but then Cherry just smacked a 180 out of nowhere. I reckon Bont's going 140 and everyone's going, oh, yeah, that's unreal. Like, let's bank that. And again, I reckon Cherry just does a little bit better.
Spillsy, do you know what this comes down to? This comes down to the fact that you like stressful weekends. If I can get that 140 on a Thursday, I'm locking and loading. I don't have to worry about my captain for the whole weekend.
I just want to VC him because it's the one we've been waiting for. And look, if I miss a Bont 140 VC, I mean, I'm happy. I've got him in the team.
You've got him. Yeah.
You bought him in, and he's new, so it's kind of like at least I got him. Glass half full. Yeah. Cherry, this is the infamous matchup. This is the Matty Flynn belting that we're all expecting.
Oh, it's going to be good. It's going to be so good. So
cannot wait.
Yeah,
I'm not overlooking this.
If they bring in, they won't. But if they bring in Bailey Williams, does it change anything?
You're straight C. No. You're straight C.
He's going to straight C him then. There you go. Just straight C.
Oh, that's
and
so
good.
Good.
Safe word the West Coast Eagles. Because Cherry's going to, I'm really keen for this matchup.
Love it.
But it's hard because there's so many good ones. I mean, you have a look
that's what I mean. This is a really good week for captains.
Yeah, like Warner against Richmond, like Matty Rao against Geelong even. He could be there next year. He could be playing for Geelong. This could be a real interview, like a job interview game. Like, this is what I got. This is where I'm worth.
Yeah, that means I'll probably
the contract after the game.
The trial game, yeah.
They're going to put O'Shea Mullen on him. He's going to score like 70. And you can have
they'll do it if they don't want Matt Rao at the club next year. Then they will do that. But I reckon they really let him do what he wants, and then that's the
that's so interesting. This is so off topic, but it's like if a player you want to come to your club is there, I'm tagging him so much that it tanks their trade value, so I can get him for cheaper. No way, I'm letting him off the leash.
True.
If he has 40 touches, I'm going to pay up 2 first for him.
And they're going to think, well, I don't want to play these buggers again. Well, I'll just join him. If you can't beat them, join them.
That's a good point. A very good point.
Oh no, that's good. That's a good episode, lads. But yeah, some really good options here. I think Tristan Cherry is the pick of the bunch.
Beautiful. Now, mailbag, we will do our separate video as always. And that's going to finish us off for the week. Now, I think it was just over an hour and a half, boys. So the big discussion was obviously the Bont discussion and those players coming off the bye. I really enjoyed that tier rating. Or maybe we do that after another bye. We'll see what happens with that. But I really enjoyed doing that. Maybe we do that for our final rankings or something similar. But I do like the tier. I think that was really good. You can see all of our friends here, the Game Day Squad, supporting the Good Friday Appeal, Speedy Tees, the Supercoach Hub, absolute legends there, and plenty of content to look forward to. We're obviously going to have the Stocky, the boys with their Thursday teams. We've got plenty of lives, plenty of content. I say it every week, more content than you poker stick at here with the Swordplay crew. But brothers, thank you very much for joining me. I was obviously away last week, as with Janath. Spillsy, you are holding the fort down extremely well with Rossco. Bit of a different mix. Shout out to Rossco. Are there any final words? I'm not going to throw you under the bus necessarily, Spillsy. I'm just going to leave this one open to both of you. What are you going to leave us with this week, legends?
Tristan Cherry VC at Hands Oval. This is a game that you'll think about in 5 years' time.
Oh, that's a call. I like that. So whatever you do, people, Tristan Cherry as the VC. I like that. Spillsy, what are you going to leave us with, mate? I'm not going to ask for words of wisdom. Just anything off the top of the dome, brother.
Oh, it's gonna be hard to top that from Janath, but I reckon break the side to get in the Bont, and yeah, this is
your last advice is break
He's
his side.
backlifted. He's backlifted.
Sometimes you've got to do a podcast, boys, to realize. 2 hours ago, I'm thinking I can't afford him. I can't get him. Now I'm thinking he's a must-have. So I'm just going to break the side and get him in because I don't care, because I'm not going to anti-pod this. So if you don't have the Bont, grab him. But yeah, boys, really good podcast. I hope you two have fun as well with the mailbag. I won't be joining you for that. I'm not feeling very well at all. I think, staying out till 4 a.m. in the freezing cold did me no favors. I haven't been the same since. So
you haven't thrown him under the bus either. You haven't thrown him under the bus. Purple could be listening. Are you going?
Wait, what's that?
You haven't thrown your man under the bus, the party animal.
Look, I thought of it. I actually forgot to bring this up. Right, let's end with this. So, we're going to talk about this after DR was talking about the merit run-in. What's going on with run into Essendon players? So, they're playing in Brisbane. 48 hours before this, he's in Brisbane. I ran into Archer Day Wicks at some nightclub up where I live. I know he's a Bendigo boy himself, but wasn't expecting that. Didn't really have much of an interaction with him. I just sort of walked up and put the camera in his face and said, "Hey, go on, mate." And what a loose unit he was. I mean, he can do it all. He fronts up on Thursday night, plays a game of AFL footy against Brisbane, nearly beats him. Yeah, he's a DR's rookie. It was kind of funny because I sent the photo in the group chat and DR was like, "Who is that, mate?" And I'm just thinking, DR, he's your F8, mate. You should be all over.
27, mate. Didn't see him too often out there.
But he was sending it so he can get the job done, not on the field, not just on the field, but also off the field as well. So yeah, he was in great form on Saturday night. So that's his match day preparation, boys. He's looking the goods. So I thought that was pretty funny. Very random. Very, very random.
He can do everything except score a 40 in Supercoach.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
That is a nice drive by. And I reckon that was the difference between our week spills. My Essendon bloke that I own's partying at bloody 3 o'clock at nightclubs, and the bloke that you just brought in this week is helping sick kids and all the rest of helping out at schools and probably in a nice bath as we speak. So that was a difference this week. Bugger you, Day Wicks, and I love you, Zeret. So, boys, what a way to end.
He's a better performer off the field, in summary.
That's right. And Zach Merritt, he's just a good bloke, isn't he, Spills?
He's a great bloke.
All the best, lads. Catch you next week. See you guys.
Cheers, mate.